So after I got fired, I qualified for unemployment, Medicaid, and EBT. Now, the EBT amount was $24 because of the unemployment that I was getting. So it was really not, I mean, it was something, right? But not that helpful. And then the unemployment lasted a bit, but it ran out. And luckily, I still have the Medicaid going, and that's been good because it's paid for the talk therapy and my doctor's visits for my blood pressure medication, and that doctor visit where I went to try to get the Adderall, but ended up with the Lexapro. And just a side note about that, I would just say no to Lexapro. I took the first 0.5 milligram tablet, and I couldn't sleep that night. And not only that, I got super itchy and got like the crawlies. Like I kept feeling like things were crawling on me and stuff. And I thought maybe I was just having another bad night, but then I looked up the side effects of Lexapro, and it's listed as not that common side effect, but a common side but a side effect, especially the itchy crawliness part, which I would say it just makes it undoable. So I mean, I can't say, I don't know how long that would last before it went away, but I couldn't even make it through that night. And then it all made me so tired that it made the job search thing damn near impossible. So I'm better off drinking than taking Lexapro, or, well, you get the idea. So, and then the other side effects, when I started reading them, I mean, I'm sure you've seen those commercials where it says suicidal thoughts and diarrhea. And, well, just the list is like huge of the different side effects. So it's unfortunate, but my dream of a medication that would just make me not care anymore, it just appears it's not a possibility. Kind of makes me think of that Huey Lewis song, I want a new drug, one that won't make me sick, one that won't make me crash my car, or something like that. He said it'd make me feel sick. Well, whatever. So that's a bummer, but okay, so back to the EBT situation. So then, when my unemployment ran out about that same time, I had to re-register for the EBT. And there was a bunch of rigmarole paperwork, and I made it through all that, and then I got a notice, a case alert, and it said that there's a new work requirement program for able-bodied adults without dependents, which there's an acronym for that, which is ABWD. Well, it's a long acronym, which is kind of silly when an acronym gets so long that you might as well just say it's actually easier just to say the words that go along with it. Now, it's just my luck, that this year, I love Donald Trump, but this is one thing from the big, beautiful bill that affected me. I think the cutoff used to be 55 or something like that, but now it goes to 65 or 64. But if you're able-bodied, you have to work 80 hours a week, volunteer 80 hours, no, not a week, a month, so 20 hours a week. Volunteer or be in job training for 80 hours a week. And so the EBT would have been, now that my unemployment has run out, would have been about 300. It's like 298, but let's just say 300 to make the math easy. So what they're wanting you to do is put in 80 hours for $300 worth of EBT or food stamps, right? So if you divide that, it comes out to be $3.75 an hour, which it just seems like, wow, I can understand how they're trying to get everybody off of welfare, but it seems like maybe they could do it more like a minimum wage type of thing. And so I mean, like 20 hours of volunteering seems, or maybe even 40 hours, but whatever. It's so much that it doesn't even make any sense. Or it pushes you into these part-time jobs, which I feel like the whole system is corrupt and kind of getting set up like that now. So, like, the idea is, uh, my roommate's making a guest appearance. If I waited till things were perfect to make a video, I'd never be able to make one. That threw me off. What was I saying? Oh, so if you get a job where you're making 20 hours a week, you would probably still qualify for some EBT, maybe not as much, but it's kind of making that whole world possible where employers are, it's like the system is subsidizing that part-time work world, so you get a part-time job, but then you still get EBT, so it's just all so screwed up. And now I feel like I want to work. I'm still capable of working. It's just been hard to find a job. And maybe I didn't try that hard when I first got fired, because I was like in shock for a while and depressed and just, it was just tough. But I just find it kind of incredible that the year that I could really use some EBT, that the rules changed. It's not 55 anymore, and now it goes all the way to 65. And it seems to me like the expectations put on older folks like that is a bit severe, maybe. Of all the people who would qualify for EBT, it seems like there would be a program for old washed up white guys like me, where if we can't find a job in this world, that at least we get, a bit of help. Do I deserve it? I don't know. Would it be nice? Yeah. I mean, I feel like if there's some Mexican women out there that are having kids and they're getting EBT, I don't see why they're somehow more qualified for help just because they were loose in the legs and got pregnant, and then so they get EBT. It just seems kind of crazy to me. So now, I don't know. I just kind of wanted to. Oh, okay. So I did try to get hooked up with the Workforce Development Board, which is the place that does, the same place that does the EBT and all that there. And they're supposed to have some training. And that's kind of hooked up with the schooling too. And so that's why I'd gone to this job fair to try to, because I thought that maybe I could start that process out at that school, the Davis Technical Institute, and get it linked up with whatever they're supposed to be helping me with at the Workforce Development Board, which it's kind of funny. I went in there, I sat down at the computer, and I did the sign up for like the training thing, or I don't know what it was called exactly. And then, like an employment specialist there or somebody was supposed to give me a call and within 3 to 4 days, but it's been over a week now. It's been more like 7 or 8 days. And then it's kind of funny because I was reading some reviews that were not so much about people like me going in for help, but people that work here that are actually the employment counselors, and they were talking about what a toxic environment it was, and how it's like it's throwing the same old spaghetti at the wall. And I still don't know exactly what that means. I've been thinking about that. I should Google it. What does that mean exactly if you keep throwing the same old spaghetti at the wall? And there was like a lot of bad reviews like that. And then when I was at the Davis Technical Institute for the job fair, the guy who was the employment, resource counselor or something like that, he used to work there, and he was talking about how glad he's not there and how glad he's at the college. And then, just a note on those type of jobs, that they're just bullshit. I've noticed that those people, they're just going through the motions. They don't even know what they're talking about. Somehow they slip into these positions, probably with a degree or something. And it doesn't even mean that they know what they're talking about or they're good at what they do, but they're kind of like just good bullshitters. And I know it's kind of funny because the Workforce Development Board had a booth at the job fair, and I stopped by there to see if I could get any info from the guy. The guy had a handlebar, a super greasy handlebar mustache. Like, he had a normal mustache, and then he had this handlebar swirly thing on both sides that was all kind of greasy and pasted back and just kind of nasty looking. And I've kind of developed a new theory that people that wear bow ties and guys with handlebar mustaches are, well, let's just say they're a breed of their own. And I think that they're not that helpful, maybe. So if you ever run into somebody wearing a bow tie, especially one of those hand-tied ones out of the blue, or a handlebar mustache, just try to bail as soon as possible and get away from them. I remember back when I was a wedding photographer, I had a groom that had a handlebar mustache, and interestingly enough, his wife, she was younger, she was super hot, and there was like some chemistry between us that was like pretty interesting between me and this bride. And then when I was a wedding photographer, that it became a kind of a strange fantasy for me, although that particular fantasy never came true. And that's a bad fantasy anyways. I shouldn't have been thinking like that. But well, so I was gonna start to do the video about the job fair experience because I want to do that. I feel like I learned a lot and had something to share there, but I got kind of sidetracked, and then just having my roommate come out and she's kind of slamming doors and stuff, it's kind of thrown me off. So I'm gonna try again with the job fair one, and but I don't have a great feeling about the Workforce Development Board being able to help me with the job finding situation. And everybody in those offices, they're just kind of going through the motions, and they probably, for the most part, they don't even know what they're doing. They're just putting in their time. But well, that's all I got for now.